to another episode of Allison and Katie's Animated Adventures. I'm Katie.
I'm Allison.
And today we have special guests, Annalise and Joe. And we're all going to talk about 1992's X-Men, the animated series. So I can remember getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. It must have been on reruns because if it was aired in 1992, I would have been 2 years old. So too young. But I would make Eggo waffles and sit in the living room and watch X-Men. So, yeah. So I absolutely love this series. It's very nostalgia for me.
Yeah, I remember watching it, definitely reruns, but I don't remember ever what I was watching, what it was about. I just know that I watched it.
Yeah, well,
but
yeah.
Same.
Allison, we're the same age. I kind of have similar memories.
Yeah.
I don't really remember this too well. I know it exists. I know the theme song and all that. But it exists in a similar space as Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, where it's just this is just a half memory.
Yeah.
But I do love X-Men. I've been reading a lot of the Chris Claremont run, so I'm excited to talk some
about it.
X.
See, I watched X-Men Evolution, which is the show that comes after the Wolverine show. It's from 2000 to 2003 is when that aired. And I watched that when it came out. I would wait.
Yeah.
And then I would watch it. But this I watched when I was in my early 20s. First time I watched X-Men, the animated series, because it is very similar to the comics. And I liked the X-Men more from Evolution because they're in high school.
Yes.
But
yeah.
I love the X-Men animated series now as an adult. And I love how they treat the characters, and I love the voice actors and the theme song and just everything really about it.
Just a note on the theme song, when I watched the first 2 episodes for this and the theme song played, it immediately brought me back to my 6-year-old self. I have a vivid image of sitting in my living room eating my Eggo waffles.
That's amazing.
While my mom is still asleep. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Well, the theme song gets stuck in your head too. And it just lives
there rent free and happily.
Well, there's a scene, this is going to be spoilers if you haven't seen Multiverse of Madness, but there's a scene in the new Doctor Strange movie where you see Professor X, and as he's rolling out, it's the theme song from the animated series. It's amazing.
Yeah, the theme song might be the only thing I remember watching when I was younger. I can picture watching that, but nothing else.
Yeah. I was always a Batman kid, so that and the 2 shows were competing. So,
yeah.
Because this came after Batman.
It did. Yes, it did.
I like this, but Batman kind of blows it out of the water.
Yeah.
I don't know, having Warner Brothers money compared to Saban money makes a big difference.
Yeah,
it
really
just
does.
from the animation style alone, you can tell that it's that the money difference played so.
They also, I was doing research on it, I learned that they also had to rush this show. Well, Batman could take however long they wanted, but they had they had a shorter amount of time to put out the episodes.
I wonder why.
Because the first X-Men show bombed so hard.
And Saban is just a brutal company. They want things ASAP. They did Power Rangers. They are the kings of cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. But so let's talk about the introduction to the X-Men as a whole, because I feel like the first episode did a fantastic job at introducing them, and it's been a while since I've seen the live action movie of the X-Men, but I feel like the very first one. So I feel this introduction to the X-Men was better than the live action movies introduction.
I don't think I've seen any of the Bryan Singer.
Oh.
You're not missing.
Yeah,
I think
I
I've
mean,
seen,
really, you're not missing
I've
anything.
seen Dark Phoenix for some reason.
God, of all of the
Hysterical
ones.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was kind of surprised at how they just kind of threw you into it. They're just like, yeah, here's the Mutant Registration Act stuff. Here's the Sentinels.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. They're really just getting down to it.
Yeah.
And they're kind of lifting from story arcs I've read in the comics. Like they're taking a little bit from Days of Future Past and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but okay, so I've never read any of the comic books, X-Men comic books. I've only seen this series and
Movies.
Revolution.
Evolution.
Evolution.
Yeah. Love Evolution.
Yeah. Evolution.
Yeah.
And the movies. The earlier ones, not the subsequent
Yeah. You're
renderings.
not missing anything.
Yeah, no. So it's nice to know, did they, for the animated series, did they blend it really well with the comic books, or?
Yes.
Yeah, this feels pretty bang on.
Mhm. Well, that's the main showrunner wasn't familiar with the comics.
Oh, okay.
But then the rest of his team was super into it. So then he very quickly picked everything up and made sure that they were as true to the comics as possible.
Psych.
So it's really-
I've got minor gripes about Cyclops' characterization.
I despise him.
Yeah,
So-
I don't know. At least where I am in the comics, he's very much like a Jon Snow type, and I like that.
Oh.
He's a tortured Boy Scout, and he would not be this cavalier about losing a team member in the comics.
Oh,
Right.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of like, what the hell? No, Cyclops would be screaming.
I
Yeah.
give this show a lot of credit for why I hate him so much. Because I genuinely hate Cyclops.
Why?
Because I if I had to pick, it'd be Wolverine. It would
Well,
never
Yeah.
be Scott Summers, and
Yeah.
I think she's nuts. But he also has a psychic affair with Emma Frost, in their minds.
Wow.
That was in the 2000s.
Yeah,
But
which
yeah.
is hilarious.
But I don't know. Wolverine's also a psychopath.
He is,
But
but that's okay.
yeah, in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got issues. In
No.
the
Oh,
God,
comics.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's rough. But yeah, no, it's pretty spot on, and the funny thing about the comics is the original run, awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. I don't know what happened. They were batting zero on it.
Yeah.
Jack Kirby's an amazing artist, one of the best
Yeah.
of all time. Awful in those books.
Really?
Yeah.
And Stan Lee loved to lie and be like, I was the one who thought, what if it was a metaphor for civil rights?
Oh.
He's not
no.
being honest.
Yeah.
That's PR. And he's like, I always thought of Magneto as sympathetic. No, that didn't come until the 80s.
Yeah.
With Claremont's run.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Claremont is the one that gave Magneto the Holocaust background.
Oh.
So he is a survivor of the Holocaust, which is why he's so protective of mutants.
Mm-hmm.
And
To the point of fanatic.
yes, but I love him. He is my favorite Marvel villain, and I love him very much.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's-
he's just the best one
Yeah.
because you're like, dude's got a point.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
a run from Marvel Now. I think it came out in 2014. Yeah, so Cullen Bunn did this run on Magneto that's really great. And I love the opening issue. The first thing Magneto does is rip someone's fillings out and replace them with street signs. And it was hilarious.
Wow.
I haven't seen it, but I know there's some moment in the 90s where he rips the metal off of Wolverine's bones.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow.
I love him. I do. He's great.
Yeah. But going back to the animated series, my favorite character is obviously Wolverine. Because I feel like as opposed to Hugh Jackman's rendering of the character, I feel like the voice actor and the voice directors and the writers and whatever for the series, because as you guys say that they were very much into the comic books, did the character far more justice than what the live action had done. And Wolverine being my favorite Marvel superhero
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, I just love the yellow
the-
suit and
Yeah. Oh,
I
I
just-
love Wolverine.
I just thought he whispered too much. I was like,
Yeah.
buddy, you good.
That's
you can raise the
fair.
volume a
That's I
little.
love the scene when he's in the bar. Is that episode 1 or episode 2 with like Pearl Jam playing in the background?
awesome.
And they're like, "Get out of here, you fuzzy little man!" Like, it's a fuzzy little man, though.
That's the thing. Like, I think Hugh Jackman's pretty great. Like, in Logan, he's amazing, but
Yeah.
like, Wolverine should be a tiny guy. He should be like 5'5" at the tallest.
Yeah.
He's a tiny gremlin man.
And he's tiny and barrel chested and so hairy.
Yes. I love him. My favorite in the series is Rogue.
Yeah.
I love her. I was very fortunate to meet her voice actress at New York Comic Con this year. And
Oh,
that's
awesome.
amazing.
she gives the best hugs. She was delightful, and she was just so kind.
Did she say anything folksy and down south?
Yes, she did. Yes, she signed a picture of Rogue for me that she just happened to have, and it was like something sugar, and I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
just that. It's
Yeah.
fine. I love that.
And in the comic books, she's from the South, the
Yeah,
character.
yeah. Her
Yeah.
and
Gambit.
Gambit are both from Louisiana.
Oh, I absolutely
Yes.
love
They're-
Gambit.
I love their
And
writing.
I can't understand why in the live action they can't, for whatever reason, seem to nail down the character.
I don't even remember him being in the live action, but
He
must
had
have
a
been.
very small part
Yeah.
in.
One of them.
Yeah, I want to say.
Was it 2? Or was it? It might have been 3. I don't know. I
Yeah.
blocked out most of 3.
No.
Yeah,
I-
I don't. I want to say like Wolverine Origins, but like at the very beginning.
God, can wait. That.
But
Oh, poor Wade.
oh, I know. Oh, I know.
So cool to be like, here's Deadpool. He can't talk, by the way.
Yeah. No, that was awful. They did that character dirty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it was Wolverine Origins, but I could be completely wrong because I've seen most of those movies once and then I never wanted to see them again.
Which is fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I feel you on that. My favorite X-Men is Nightcrawler.
I love Nightcrawler.
I love him. They do
Yeah.
him so dirty in every
Yeah.
adaptation.
Yeah.
Make
They
him
really
like
do.
a guy who like self-harms for religious reasons. Like, that's
Yeah.
just not his deal. He's like a funny pirate guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love him. He's great in X-Men Evolution, the animated
Yeah.
series.
I
Yeah.
think in the comics he was Spider-Man for a bit recently,
That's
which I'm like, all
interesting.
right.
Oh,
That's cool. I
really?
love that for him.
Yeah, I think he
But
was
yeah.
called the Uncanny Spinning Man or
That's-
something like that.
That's great.
He is German.
That's great.
He was my favorite character on Evolution, and then I'm trying to think of my favorite X-Men in general.
Yeah. See, it's funny. I say Wolverine's my favorite X-Men, but I love so many of them. So, like, I love Gambit. I love Nightshade, Nightcrawler. I don't know why I nearly called him Nightshade. Nightcrawler, and Wolverine. And, like, I'm sure if I saw any more of, like, the series or even, like, Evolution, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I like them too. You know? So,
yeah.
it's an eclectic.
Yeah. I kind of wish Colossus was here. I love that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, he's later on.
Okay,
Yeah.
he does show up.
Yes, he
Cool.
does.
Yeah.
I there was an amazing issue I read where Arcade captured them and he brainwashed Colossus into becoming the proletarian.
Oh, wow.
Colossus is a Soviet and he is a
Yes.
communist,
He
but
is.
like
You know, it
but
makes
yeah,
sense.
he made him militaristic and against the X-Men. It was really funny. They put him in like the Lenin hat and stuff. It
Oh
was,
my god.
Love that. Yeah, I don't technically count her as one of the X-Men, which is my problem with saying she's my favorite, but Emma Frost will always be.
Yeah.
Like, I love her so much.
Is there a
Everything.
reason in particular?
Like, I don't count her as an X-Men, or
Yeah.
she's my favorite?
Both.
Oh, she's incredible.
Yeah.
She's, like, reformed later on in a later story where she's on the X-Men and she's a good guy, but I love her so much as a villain.
Yeah.
She's just brilliant.
Yeah.
She's-
Because, like, my only actual reference to any of the X-Men is either any, like, animated
Right.
iterations.
Or January Jones.
Or January Jones. I have no other Like,
I love Emma. She is based on an actress portrayal of a crime boss, maybe? I don't remember.
Yeah, everything in the Dark Phoenix saga was taken from some British soap opera.
really?
Yeah.
And I love Emma's look alone, too. She's always in, like, a white bustier and a fur coat.
Crazy.
It's great. I love it so much. There's Kevin Wada, who's a comic artist. He does a lot of cover artwork. He did an entire design of the X-Men where it's all like 1980s pinups,
That's great.
and it's amazing.
Yeah.
I love her and Jean. They're
Yeah.
great. I love them. Yeah, Jean is my friend Steven's favorite, and she's fine.
Yeah,
I just don't know what's going on with her outfit here.
Yeah,
It was,
they were. I feel like it's very Grace Jones.
yeah,
is what
but
the
it
inspiration
it
was.
felt like they were like, all right, we're gonna put her in a skimpy outfit, and then they're like, oh no, it's a kid's show, we can't do that. I
Yeah.
don't know, give her flesh-covered pants.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just like make them green or something.
Well,
So
as you
bad.
say, the studio wanted the episodes out fast. They probably didn't have time
They
to make
forgot.
those changes,
They
or
changed
they
the
color.
forgot. Yeah. And why wouldn't you like count Emma Frost as like an X-Men?
Because it's later on that she's like reformed and joins the team. She's usually a villain.
Okay. And would
She
you
has
also
her
count
own,
like
crime syndicate?
oh, and would you also count like Scarlet Witch in that as well, or is she and Quicksilver like completely?
They count as X-Men characters because they are Magneto's children. However, he doesn't even know they exist until they get married around then.
Yeah.
And then he like tries to repair the relationship, and they're like, no,
Yeah.
can't say that. Screw you.
Yeah.
And they're there. Like they count in the universe. It'd be like there's the Bat Family and the Bat Family adjacent. That's
Okay.
what I usually consider
Yeah,
them.
like they don't seem to show up in the books, in
Right.
the X-Men books too often. They're usually like showing up in Avengers stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like
Okay.
an event like House of M, where she loses her kids and has a mental breakdown and decides to rewrite the universe, and it's great.
Yeah.
And then her dad like whisks her through a wormhole, something like that. Yeah,
Wow.
House of M is an interesting event.
It sounds interesting. Yeah.
But yeah,
There was a Gambit line that I can't get out of my head.
Oh.
It was so strange. He was like, first I charge the card, then it explodes. Life can't get better than this.
I love the entire first episode. He's speaking about himself in third person.
Yes.
And I love that for him. But there's so many one-liners in this show, though.
Yeah.
And Beast's lines are my favorite, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when he's dumping the different chemicals, he's just like, it would be unfortunate if this exploded. It'd be disconcerting yet provocative. You're like, what does that mean? Why?
Oh God.
I like Beast. He's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
His character in this show is amazing, though. He's just reading Animal Farm in his cell. Just,
Yeah.
I love him.
And it's funny, like it's like again, Beast is one of those X-Men members that I absolutely love when I see him. He's part of like my
Yeah.
lexicon of like X-Men characters that I absolutely love. And then when I look at the live action versions of him, it's like, oh, what did you do? Why would you do that?
I don't understand why they fail so hard with like designing Beast. They can do the Hulk. Why can't they do Beast?
Right.
Like that. I don't.
Right.
Yeah, he's just a monkey guy. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's blue. Like it's fine.
And furry.
Yeah.
He's blue and furry.
the OG Beast just had big hands and feet.
Yeah.
He was human. He was entirely human, and then later on they're like, I don't know, he's furry now.
And blue.
And blue.
But
I
yeah.
liked that it just felt like they had way more personality, like in the animated
Yeah.
series than I can
Yes.
remember from the movies. Like they all felt like different people.
Yeah.
Because sometimes like everyone's just like some quirky hero, and it doesn't, feel
Yeah.
like they're actually different.
I think it helps that they're able to have like different outfits here too. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
those like 2000s ones, it seems like they're all just in black leather, and it's like.
Well, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what they are. They're too uniform, and they're all black leather. There's no,
Differentiation.
none.
Yeah. I like. You're right. They all have their own personalities, and I like when they're all like getting ready to attack. They all have something different to say.
Yeah.
And I love Storm every time it's so formal.
Yes.
She just starts with her title and then she goes into.
And I don't know if this is probably because I'm a little biased about Storm in live action. I don't like Halle Berry as an actor. I mean, and to have her be Storm and not play her as the formal character that she is.
She's a princess.
And she's a princess. Right. Again,
She should be.
I didn't know that until I watched the animated series, again, being my 30-some-odd mature self. It's like, oh, yeah, she's a princess. And all that formality. It's like, but because, like, the formality is her character. It's what makes her.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, Storm rules.
Yes.
I haven't seen the original X-Men movies in a long time. Does Halle Berry even attempt like a Kenyan accent?
No.
Okay.
I will say here, it didn't really sound like they were going for it. She sounded vaguely British, and I was like, I don't know if that's what Kenya sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think, because I haven't seen Evolution in a long time, but I feel like.
I don't even. Yeah.
I
don't remember.
You don't remember? Because I feel like they try a little harder to match accents.
Also, I think they had a bigger budget, so.
Bigger budget, more time.
Whenever I've shown Susanna like pages of X-Men that Storm's in, she's always like, why does she look like RuPaul? She really does.
She really
in the comics.
does.
They give
Does
her
she really?
high eyebrows
She really does
and
look like
super
RuPaul.
tall white hair, and it's just like, oh.
I will never unsee that.
It's all I can
Never
see
unsee that.
Yeah. Now that you said that, Joe,
God.
I will never be able to unsee it.
I'm pretty sure RuPaul's like worn her like honeymoon outfits that you see. Oh my god. Yeah.
What do we think of Jubilee here?
I think she's like that stereotypical 90s teenage who's like doesn't know what's going on but kind of sort of knows what's going on. I love her power. I love the fact that she can make fireworks
That explode things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's-
thus her name Jubilee is exactly what you would expect.
I really like her 90s outfit.
I
It's
also
so
her
It's-
jacket.
it's-
and the sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the sunglasses, only because I've never been a fan of the sunglasses,
fair.
but wearing like her jean shorts and her t-shirt and the huge yellow overcoat.
Yeah, I was surprised at first because I was like, oh, I thought that was her her hero outfit, but it's just her clothes.
Yeah, it's just her outfit.
I was like, oh, I guess she just always dresses like that.
Yeah.
She's very flashy.
That's
Yes.
just her color palette.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, that's one thing I like about the X-Men though is they are flashy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're not ashamed to be flashy at all.
They're fun.
Yeah.
I will gravitate toward an X-Men book over an Avengers book, even
Mm.
though I love Captain America, because I like the characters.
Right.
I like their personalities, and they're like unapologetically themselves, which is kind of part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it's refreshing to see, even though I've seen it multiple times in varying years of my life. It's still like almost like a palate cleanser to what we've been given in like the live action movies, where their personalities are subpar
At best.
or completely like there's nothing there at worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with our most recent X-Men live action film.
Which I didn't even bother to
Which
go
one
and
was that,
see.
Dark Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
That one
funny.
was rough. Yeah.
Well, yeah, which I didn't even bother to go and see.
I do wish Professor X is more awful in this, because in the
'Cause
comics,
he's an
I hate
awful
that
human.
guy.
Really?
He
He's
sucks.
awful.
He's just
Yeah.
like they. One thing I really like about Claremont's writing is he always makes a point that like when Professor X goes into their heads, it feels wrong for them,
Right.
and it's just like, yeah, maybe he shouldn't be doing this.
See, now that's interesting because in the movies, they're completely fine with it. Like,
Yeah.
or at least it doesn't come across as that makes them feel uncomfortable.
He's creepy with Jean too in the comics.
I haven't gotten to any weird stuff with him and Jean
Okay.
yet. Right now, Jean's dead. Temporarily, as always.
Yeah.
Magically come back to life.
No one ever truly dies in Marvel Comics except for Captain Marvel, the first one.
It's so cool. He just died from cancer, too. He just got normal cancer and died.
Oh.
Wow.
Like, they were like, we can't treat you because you're an alien. And
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, Marvel. But yeah.
My favorite Marvel death on a very similar note is at one point Mysterio died because he had developed lung cancer from all of his smoke tricks over the years.
Oh my god. That's funny.
Yeah. I do. I enjoy the X-Men comics, but I think my favorite part of the animated series are the one-liners and the development of the characters.
Yes.
Especially Wolverine's got some great ones too.
There's
He-
zingers.
He just shows up after going rogue. He's like, I got bit by a dog. Okay. We're just going to leave that?
Yeah.
We're just going to acknowledge that.
Tell Cyclops I made him a convertible.
I know.
I mean, I think we can all agree that this series is campy, but like campy in the best possible
God,
way. Yeah.
I love their like hero brands and their one-liners when they're going to attack a villain.
Yeah.
They're just phenomenal. I love how just extra everything is. Like, did Rogue need to pick up the entire escalator? No.
No,
But
she
she did.
Absolutely.
She's just great. My favorite episode of the entire animated series is, which one? It's called A Rogue's Tale. It's in season 2, and it's Rogue's like backstory.
That's cool.
And it introduces her foster mother.
You know, I feel like, because, like, again, it's been a while since I've seen it, but that I can remember, like, seeing, like, when it opens, like, in the bayou and, like, she's in a bar or something, or am I, like, I could be.
She's down south,
Yeah.
because her dad kicks her out once he finds out that
She's a mutant.
she's a mutant. I think it opens with her kissing her first boyfriend, though, and then finding out that, oh, if I kiss people, they die.
Yeah.
And so,
There's a panel I always see joked about where like Rogue's like they're saying there might be a cure for mutantism or whatever, and
Yeah.
then Storm's like there is no cure, we are perfect, and it's like no, maybe Rogue needs this, maybe Rogue would like to touch people at some point.
So,
it's just so sad.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like, since you guys have more of a background to it, I know, like, in the live action movies, there's kind of, like, that sexual tension between Rogue and Wolverine, at least in the first movie
Oh,
or a second movie.
interesting.
Yeah. And I was just wondering, since it, like, came into my head, well, there's definite sexual tension between Wolverine and Jean.
Yes.
Yeah. Where I'm at in the comics, Wolverine's interests have been Jean and forget her name, but she's a Japanese woman. She's Sunfire's sister, and yeah, he
Interesting.
wants to settle down and be normal with her.
Yeah.
And run away to Canada.
Yeah, Wolverine loves Japan. He's a weeb. It's a very funny aspect of his character.
But no, Rogue is always Gambit.
It's Rogue and Gambit.
Rogue and Gambit. They get married later on.
Do they really?
It's adorable.
Does Jean, or not Jean, Rogue, does she get cured? I mean, how does that work with Gambit?
I don't ever think so.
No, yeah. I think they just gotta...
They just make it work.
They figure
They
it out.
marvel it out.
They marvel it out.
Yeah.
They figure it
Do
out.
retcon, yeah. But Jean, she's with Logan for a little while, and then she switches back to Scott, and then she's with Logan for a little while.
I think I heard currently they're in some kind of weird throuple situation.
Yep.
Oh, joy.
So I don't remember when it was. I think it was like 2017 when they relaunched X-Men again. And they did X-Men Gold, which is Storm's team, X-Men Blue, which is Scott's team, Generation X, Omega X-Men, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And those books were great.
Yeah.
And it focused on, like, Jubilee led a team.
That's
in
cool.
Generation X. I think it was Jubilee. Now I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was Jubilee, though. It wasn't Kitty. Kitty Pryde becomes like a really big thing in X-Men Gold. But
I think Kitty was like a space pirate at some point.
yes, she was, because she dates Peter.
Yes.
Yes, she dates Peter Quill.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So she becomes a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Kind of.
Interesting.
Peter Quill's awful. So it's like he's truly awful in the comics.
Oh,
He's
really?
like an awful human being. yeah.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
There you go.
Life imitates art.
Yes.
But yeah, I like Kitty Pryde. I was sad. So before X-Men the Animated Series, they tried to do an X-Men show with Kitty Pryde.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what it was called. Pride was in the title.
Pride of the X-Men.
Pride the X-Men. Yeah. And just people didn't like it. They
Yeah.
didn't like the fact that her sidekick was a dragon for some
I
reason.
love
And I'm like,
Kitty
what?
Pryde, and I
He's
love the
adorable. He's like this big.
Aww.
And they just didn't like him for some reason.
So, and what's... Because I don't think I've ever seen Kitty Pryde before.
Oh, so she, you have, because you've seen the movies.
In the movies, she's
think-
played by Elliot Page.
Oh.
She can like phase through walls.
Walls.
Yeah, she's was like the kid sister to the X-Men, more
Yeah.
or less.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So kind of what Jubilee is acting as here.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's- yeah. I like Jubilee's character in that way.
Yeah,
That-
I
like
think
that she's the kid sister.
I think the X-Men go really well when there's a kid in the mix. We're just
Yeah.
like, all right,
Yeah.
we're taking care of this girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's one of the really great thing, like, aspects of the X-Men in general, whether it's, like, I think I don't know how well it is in the comic books, but, like, in the animated, like, any, like, animated iteration, they act more like a family
Yeah.
rather than...
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a family.
Yeah, because I don't...
'Cause that's, yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean...
most of them don't have much to go home to.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
Except for Colossus.
Yeah.
His family loves him.
Aw.
Yeah.
But because it doesn't seem that way in the live action movies. It seems like they're very
They're just
much
like a team. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very much
Well, that's true, because even
out
in
for themselves.
the later movies, when it's Jennifer Lawrence and
Yeah.
Michael Fassbender playing Eric,
That's
have-
X-Men First Class.
yes, where one of Magneto's like perks is he treats everyone like their family.
Yeah.
And that's what makes her like sway.
Mhm.
So that's an interesting point. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
'Cause in the comics they're a family.
Okay. Again,
Yeah.
I don't have any background with like X-Men other than the animated series and the live action
They're
movies
still,
to
like,
a
a-
certain extent.
It's an interesting dichotomy that I would have never thought about. until
Yeah.
you pointed it out. But yeah,
Mhm.
since I love Magneto, so
Yeah.
it's all about it.
Yep.
I think Magneto needs some branding help. The Brotherhood
Yeah.
of Evil Mutants isn't exactly great.
Yeah.
Great to
No.
get people on your side.
No.
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 Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still love him though. There are so many characters that spin out of X-Men too
Mhm.
that I think are interesting. It's been a while since I've seen the entire animated series, so I don't know if Deadpool pops up later on or not, but he does, like, he gets to start in an X-Men book, right?
Yeah, he started
In
in
the
X Factor.
Yes.
Yeah, Rob Liefeld.
Mm.
So that's-
Yeah, X Factor was the edgy continuation of New Mutants, which was like the young X-Men team.
Okay.
Like these are people in training, and eventually it kind of got darker and darker, and then it became a different book, X-Force, where it was Cable leading the team.
Interesting.
And yeah, I can't explain Cable because that is pure comics nonsense.
It's in the animated show.
Wow, I'm shocked they even attempted to be like, okay,
They
this is Cyclops and Jean Grey's son from the future, but he got robot AIDS and he has to go back in time, and
Wow.
It's season 1 too.
wow.
That they bring it in.
Really?
It's like a few episodes after. Yeah, they do Days of Future Past with Apocalypse. And the design for Apocalypse in the animated series though, hysterical. He looks like a turtle man. Looks like a little purple turtle man. It's so funny. he's a robot. He's got no teeth, but it's so funny. But yeah, they do Cable, and they do the like cybernetic AIDS. Yeah, they do that, and they call it like a mutant virus that people are getting.
I think Cable's in the second
Wow.
Deadpool movie.
Yes.
Yes, he
Yeah.
is.
Played by Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Which is pretty perfect casting.
Yeah, no, I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that. I like Ryan Reynolds as Wade too, because
Yeah.
I like Deadpool. Not all runs of Deadpool. That's Gail Simone's Deadpool, which she started writing Deadpool in 1993, I think. And then continued writing for a little while after the book switched back to X Factor, right? And then he breaks the fourth wall. That's like his thing.
Yeah.
But later on, his books are always so silly. I really enjoy that.
So, would you say that Ryan Reynolds is pretty true to the comic book character?
He does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I don't know who else I would pick though. That's the problem with Wade is. No,
He
I
doesn't
think.
quite have a face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, literally, yeah. Yeah.
I'm amazed. It looked like they did the Star Jammers in here. That's a real fun one. So Cyclops' dad. Cyclops is an orphan, but his dad is later revealed to be a spacefaring adventurer named Corsair. There's a team called the Star Jammers, which is made up of there's like a cat person on there and like crazy aliens. It's awesome.
Wow.
Does Dazzler ever pop up?
Yes, it looks like they do Dazzler.
I thought so.
She's
love
the
Dazzler.
disco one.
She is. I love her outfit. I love all of the designs for her. She's amazing, and I love her. Her name is Allie.
She was the first X-Men character to get a solo series.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
And she's got stars on her eyes, and she's got like this jumpsuit that goes down to her belly button, and it's like chef's kiss. Amazing.
Yeah, she uses her powers mainly to put on really good performances. She creates like balls of light.
Yep. She's great.
Does she dance disco too?
Yeah.
Yes.
She's got bell bottoms and like go-go boots. Love her so much.
Wow.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I love the most about the X-Men is the artwork that spins out of it.
Yeah.
And the different fan art. Like I have, Jen Bartel is a really famous comic artist. She does covers usually.
Okay.
And she did an entire series, a lot of it X-Men related, but it was like a series for Marvel, where for the different solo books, she did that character in the style that would have been popular when they were created.
Okay.
So like She-Hulk is in 1980s wear kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And she did some artwork of Jubilee and Storm that's amazing.
Really?
Like I like Jubilee, she has like a firework shooting out of her finger and she's blowing a bubblegum bubble.
That's great.
It's really cute.
That's great.
But
Yeah.
Because that's the X-Men, you can have fun with their outfits.
Mm-hmm.
And you can put their personality in it.
Yeah, I've been excited. Marvel's doing another Ultimate Universe, and no, the Spider-Man book for it, amazing.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Jonathan Hickman, and it's
Okay.
like, all right, what if Peter was already married to Mary Jane and had kids before he became Spider-Man?
Ooh, okay.
Oh, an
I like
interesting
that.
Yeah,
premise.
Uncle Ben is alive.
Oh my god.
And he's buddies with J. Jonah Jameson, and they're like
Interesting.
doing an All the President's Men type plot. It's so sick.
That's
Interesting.
really...
So like in this
Amazing.
Ultimate Universe, it's the evil Reed Richards from the old one. It
Oh my
kind
God,
of created
love
it
that.
and messed with everything to
Okay.
create no superheroes, and it's super
Interesting.
fun. But yeah, they're doing an Ultimate X-Men one soon, which looks to be very manga inspired, and I'm very
Ooh.
excited.
Okay. Who's
Ooh.
writing it?
Let me see. It was.
So I've met Chris Claremont.
Oh my god.
And he was not the nicest man in the world.
That kind of
no.
tracks,
That's
honestly.
And
disappointing.
it does indeed track. He was not nice.
Oh.
And I will leave it at that.
That's disappointing.
And my friend Steven had met him previously, and he also wasn't very kind.
Mm-hmm.
But he was at least like, thank you for enjoying my books.
Yeah.
To me, he was like, money.
Oh
Money.
my god.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm like, no, sir. No. No, you cannot have my money.
Wow.
It was just so bad. He wouldn't even get out of his chair. He just, like, okay, dude.
Wow.
And I've met
God.
a lot of people And that was one of the worst experiences I've had with
Yeah,
a
I'm
comic
sorry.
creator.
Wow.
I mean, it's
that's awful. I'm sorry.
I feel
That's
like
fine.
elderly British men are gonna be just the worst.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Peach Momoko's doing it.
Ooh, okay. Interesting. Okay. I haven't read Marvel in a really long time. I'm a DC first kind of person, but
Yeah.
Marvel's books went a little off the rails for a while. So
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I'm glad this is like a little
This is-
nice pocket. You know, you
Yeah.
don't have to read too much.
Yeah, there's a storyline with Captain America that I was like, okay, all right, book closed, we're done.
Oh
Wait,
no.
please tell me what went down.
So I'm sure everyone's familiar with when Captain America became a Nazi.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
I did not hear
Not
about this.
only did he become like I love Sharon. I do. That is Captain America's girlfriend. They're like endgame. Love her. I don't know why it was necessary. Like, yes, he's already a Nazi and doing all of these awful things. Oh, let's let him rape Captain America's girlfriend while we're at it.
What the hell?
And then Sharon has to deal with that PTSD because Steve is now Steve again.
Yeah.
And she's like, you can't touch me because he had your face.
Oh,
And it's
Oh.
so sad.
My God.
And so awful. Like, it's like, we're already awful. Let's make it worse.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
that's just not like enjoyable to read.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's just like an impossible situation that it's like how can this get better?
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know. You don't need to do that to Captain America.
No.
I feel like he could have just been a Nazi. I feel like that would have been bad enough.
Yeah.
Let's
What was the premise of, like, why even think of that premise to begin with and then put it to paper? Like, I don't.
He was like because he's a Nazi now in the books. He was a Nazi. He's not anymore, thankfully, and he was like hiding the fact that he was a Nazi, so it could be like this big, I'm a Nazi, and he like rapes her during that, and it's,
My God.
Yeah, Marvel.
Yeah.
My
I
God.
guess most comic book companies have a bad history of using sexual assault in
Yeah.
in not very productive ways.
Yeah, no, it's just there.
Yeah. I was, for some reason, like a few weeks ago, I kept seeing people bring up the 200th issue of Avengers, which is like, from the cover of it, it's like, oh, it's so fun, it's the 200th issue. There's even like a little ad for like, win a free Toys R Us shopping spree.
That's funny.
But in it, it's like Miss Marvel gets like kidnapped and brainwashed and is, and like is
my
made to
God.
bear a child, and the other Avengers are like, well, this seems cool by us.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's baffling.
Wow.
I mean, how long was Hank Pym on the team while he was beating his wife? So,
Oh wow.
yeah, I love
Wow.
DC. I do. So
I-
I will accept some dark storylines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least with Hank Pym, there's some recognition of like, oh, he's bad now.
Yeah.
This is a bad thing he's doing. It
Yeah.
wasn't just the Avengers being, whoa, see ya, Carol.
Yeah, yeah. Steve steps in there for a while. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's disappointing.
It's there are some dark storylines that you're right. That why was it necessary?
Yeah.
At least with DC, not always. There are some dark storylines like fridging that have no point, but they usually have like a point to the darkness. There's a reason why.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
both
think
of
I
them
can,
have
if
a
I
history
can,
of that.
like, just because it popped into my head, I think one of the good examples is having the Joker kill Robin and not and having Batman unable to save him.
That one's funny because they left it up to the readers to decide
Yes.
if Robin got murked or not.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, they like voted.
Yeah, and
Oh.
they were like, here you go, you pigs.
Wow.
Here's the Joker killing a child.
Wow.
Yeah, he beats him until like an inch of his life with a crowbar and then lets him die.
Now, the really funny aspect of this that is often forgotten is that the Joker could not face legal consequences for it because at the time he was an ambassador for Iran.
Yes.
Are you kidding?
Oh my god.
What?
Yeah.
What?
hmm
Oh my God.
And that's Batman doesn't kill, so he did not kill the Joker. And then we get Red Hood out of that because Jason's like, why?
Yeah.
Why? He killed me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah, he does in a later story arc, Batman, that is, I know this is very off topic, but...
Well, it's a comic book. We
That's
have
true.
been talking about comic books.
So, when Dick Grayson gets shot in the head, and that's
Wow.
later on.
These people are so resilient.
Wow.
Real
Which Dick does
troopers.
not die. He just loses his memories and becomes Rick, and it's an abomination. But Bruce goes and tracks down the guy that shot him and almost beats him to death, and someone has to stop him from killing him.
Wow.
Because it's his son. Like, that's,
Yeah.
And Jason, this had already happened to Jason, who's not,
Yeah.
He does snap. It doesn't even kind of snap. He snaps.
Wow.
Like, he walks to where the guy is.
Yeah.
In, like, Siberia, in a cabin. He walks there.
Yeah.
So he's, like, mostly frozen by the time that he gets there and then beats this man to death, essentially.
Wow. And I mean, would you also say that kind of like dredges up the hopelessness that he had felt as a kid when his parents were gunned down in a robbery gone wrong? Or do you think it's just because...
That event alone influences most of what Bruce does.
Yeah.
But I think for this in particular, yes, and then the fact that he didn't save Jason and
Right.
he didn't do anything afterward.
Right. It kind of like just
But, yeah.
snowballed out of control.
Yeah, no, that book afterward, after Robin gets shot and oh my god, it's so bad. He goes by Rick. I'm like, why?
I've heard terrible things.
Yeah, it's really awful.
Because
That's
I really
really-
like Nightwing, and I was like, why? Why is this? And it went
'Cause
on
that's-
too long, I heard.
Yeah, no, I stopped buying the Nightwing book when that happened because I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And now it's phenomenal again.
Yeah, I've been
Ooh.
buying those because I think that's...
Yeah,
should be
yeah,
good
Nightwing's
now.
really good again.
I wanted to read Nightwing just because I think he has a really sick design.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
I really love Dick Grayson, and I say that full well knowing all of the awful things he has done.
Yeah.
So, that's, yeah.
I mean, his mentor is Bruce Wayne.
I know, and
Yeah.
Batman
His
is my
mentor's a
favorite.
maniac.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the best way.
In the best way.
I love him very much.
So, for anyone who's like interested in reading any type of like iteration of X-Men in a comic book or just comic books in general, because I'm the only comic book I can actually say that I actually read was a Justice League edition, 52 edition, where Wonder Woman and Superman got together.
Okay.
And that's the only comic book that I've ever actually read.
Right.
So I'm interested, me personally, I really want to broaden my horizons with comic book reading because
Okay.
I love reading manga. So I think reading
Yeah.
comic books is like, it's really not a far stretch. But I have no idea where to start.
So with X-Men, I personally would say Claremont's run.
Yeah, I'd say they have it in nice collections now called like Marvel Masterworks.
Yeah.
It has all the weird little detours you might not catch, like the annuals and stuff. Yeah, Giant Size X-Men #1 is like the team you know, more or less.
Right.
That's when you get Wolverine, Storm, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Banshee, Sunfire, and John Proudstar. John Proudstar doesn't last very long.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's and it like Claremont's pretty amazing from the jump. Once John Byrne comes on as an artist, it
Yeah.
really gets
Yeah.
insane.
And that's-
Byrne is another one who maybe don't look at like the views section of his Wikipedia page, but great artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of artists like that. But I agree with Joe. Start with Claremont. That's where you're going to get all of the storylines that you know as well.
Okay.
Like Dark Phoenix, there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dark Phoenix and Days of Future Past are separated by like 2 issues in the comics. It's
Okay.
kind of
Yeah.
crazy. It's like, whoa, they were just on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he really breathed life back into the X-Men and really gave it a new life, honestly.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted a more modern book, I would say you could pick up like a Generation X from 2017. That is a younger team. They're all kids that are trying to like find their place as mutants in the world. And
Yeah.
then you could also look at, you could probably start with like X-Men Gold and X-Men Blue too, because you have a background. It might not be like comics based, but you know the characters already.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you could start with those if you wanted a modern one too. And the artwork's phenomenal. There's a kid's covered in eyeballs in Generation X.
Wow, I think that would really that would just skeeve me out.
Oh, I love it. It's great.
I
He's on the cover of one of the issues.
I would want to scratch it.
He's really cute. He's really cute. I think he's a too.
Oh.
But I would be if I was covered in eyeballs.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wouldn't hear the end of it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, start there. Start with Claremont if you want like true X-Men.
Cool.
Okay, I'm looking at this frankly amazing looking Marvel series called Marvel Apes, where everyone's a monkey instead.
Wow.
Maybe start here. You know, looks like Captain America's a gorilla. Spider-Man's a spider monkey.
Of course he is.
Yeah, what's not to love?
Wow.
But yeah.
So fun.
I mean, are there any other characters you'd be interested in exploring?
Pretty much. I mean, like, all the good stuff I've ever heard from you guys, being comic book readers and, like, having, like, this avid fan for these characters, it's, I'm not much of a dark reader, so I don't know if Batman would be...
Oh, there's plenty of Batman you could read.
Oh,
There's
really?
a lot of fun Batman, too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you'll enjoy The Long Halloween. It's like film noir in a book.
That's cool.
So.
Yeah, I'd say, like, you know, Long Halloween, it's not too different from the tone of the animated series.
Okay.
It's definitely darker, but, like, you know, it's very, like,
Yeah.
I think for Batman, if you wanted not so dark, you could do... Some of Tom King's run is darker. It's going to be. But then you have...
There's a really good one-shot where he meets Elmer Fudd.
There is. Yep. That is quite fun. Yeah, you could read that. So there's like an entire... They did like a whole series of these Looney Tunes crossovers with all of the characters. And Catwoman is Tweety Bird, I believe. And that one's fun. But yeah, you could do that. And then Tom King's run... As long as you go into it knowing there are some darker issues in there, then you would really enjoy that. There's an entire arc where Catwoman and Batman, like, they're planning on getting married, they're engaged, and they go and visit Talia al Ghul. Hysterical.
Yeah.
Like, Catwoman beats her to a pulp, and it's really fun because Talia is also an assassin, so they're going head to head. And then there's a scene where she's just sitting with Bruce, and she's like, I like her. I love this. And the artwork is Joelle Jones, who's one of the first women to... Well, she was the first woman to consistently draw for Batman, for a Batman book.
Oh, wow.
And her artwork is beautiful.
Cool.
On the lighter side, there's always Superman.
It's true.
There's some very fun Superman stuff out there. All-Star Superman is a total blast. And also very emotional.
Yeah.
It pretty much Superman has to fly into the sun to save some people. From that, he gets stronger powers than ever, but his body is breaking down.
That's funny.
He knows he's going to have to die.
Yeah.
But he's trying to set everything up.
Right.
Rebirth Superman's book was good too. And then Super Sons is fun. It's Damian and oh god, what is his name? Superman's child.
John Kent.
John Kent. Yeah.
With Lois Lane?
Yes, yeah. It's the two of them, and there's some really, really cute issues you get out of that.
Yeah.
Because, like, it'll be Bruce and Damian, and then Lois, Clark, and John having family dinner.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and Tomasi wrote that. He was writing the Superman book at the time, too.
Yeah.
And both of them are pretty good.
Yeah. Cool.
I love Lois Lane. She's so fun.
She got her own book recently, and that was really good. Because it's Lois, and I love Lois. Because she is not afraid of anything.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Lois Lane is in my bathroom. I was going to say, you've seen that art print, right?
I'm not. I mean,
I have an art print of Lois in my bathroom.
That's cool. Next time I come over, I'm going to have to really look.
It's by, it's a Clayman one.
Okay.
And Clayman was doing the artwork for Batman for a while.
Cool.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, if you want lighter for DC, go with
Superman.
I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of something else you could do for DC that's lighter.
I also, like, if I was to choose really any character to read aside from the X-Men, it'd be Wonder Woman.
Oh, Rucka.
Yeah.
Greg Rucka. That's it.
That's
Start
it.
there. That's it.
Period. Full
Yeah.
stop.
Greg Rucka's Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Okay.
I love her a lot. But that is my favorite that I've ever read. And there are so many comic nerds that would tell you the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Gail Simone, and she did a great job, but Greg Rucka.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. You guys are going to have to write down the recommendations
I'm sure.
for me.
It's fine. We got it. Oh, yeah, Superboy would be fun.
I'm just finding out about Beppo the super monkey.
Okay.
I love that.
God, the 50s and 60s were so hard. They were just constantly being like, I don't know, give him a monkey, make Superman, make Jimmy Olsen get married to an ape. You see, so like, they kind of ran out of ideas for Superman. And in the
that's pretty easy
60s,
to do that.
all the covers were just like, here's Superman doing something terrible to Lois or Jimmy. And you're going to have to read it to find out why.
Yeah.
I like the different iterations that comics have gone through. And one of my favorites is I like Bad Girl comics.
Mm-hmm.
Those are fun. And the artwork is absurd for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like Jim Balent's Catwoman. Why? That is my one question for that. Why?
Why? Because he could.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
She has udders.
Oh.
Why?
Not literally.
Jim Balent.
Not literally. Though literally. That one in particular. I'm like, why? Why, sir? Why can I see her ribs
Wow.
in her outfit? Why can I see her ribs?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, comic
The book
artists.
itself is delightful, though.
Yeah.
It's just the art. Yeah.
Yeah.
She honestly looks a lot like Cher in the 90s.
Maybe inspiration?
Probably.
Yeah.
But it's a really fun, it's a fun book. She's like on vacation, the first issue. She's got like this Hawaiian shirt and she looks great and it's just fun. But the artwork on the cover, I'm just like, sir,
Yeah.
no.
Calm down.
I know that. And if you compare that with Joelle Jones' Catwoman artwork later on, you can tell one is for the male gaze and one is for the female gaze, and that's one of the things I like about comic art now.
Yeah.
Is it's more inclusive for who is the viewer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not one mindset.
Which is nice.
Like with Power Girl, he just slowly kept upping her cup size until someone noticed, and no one ever noticed.
Wow.
Yeah, Power Girl just has a cutout in
She
her
has a boob
costume
window.
right here.
I have there are
Wow.
2 Power Girls on my walls at home, so
Yeah.
I love her.
But
So
yeah, like in X-Men, it's like, oh yeah, Storm hates wearing clothes, by the way. She just hates it, so.
Oh my god.
wow.
Fun.
So
Yeah.
do we have any final thoughts about the animated series, about the comic books, about
I think if
DC
you
and Marvel in general?
I could go on about DC for a very long time, so I'm not going to do that. For the animated series, I think if you really enjoy it, you should watch all of it.
Yeah.
And then if you want to read the comics afterwards, start with Claremont's run.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
animated series is great.
Yeah.
And it's nostalgia, but it's just good.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. It's not nostalgia for the sake of being nostalgia. It's got meat and storyline and arcs and
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just good.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I had a very good time with this.
Yeah.
And X-Men, it rules, so check it out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I really enjoyed watching the first 2 episodes, and I'll probably watch more, just because I don't really remember whatever I watched
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. Cool.
It's fun.
So if tell us if you like X-Men in general, or just the animated series or the comic books, what your favorites are, what you like, what you really don't like. And please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.